KBYP with a balance modulator update. It's perfect. It was bounced within a millivolt. There was more 120 cycle ripple on the bounce modulator amp and the carrier detector tube, so I had to make a filter for that. But got the power supply noise down to 50 millivolts for each one, and got the spurious carrier at the final grids down to 50 millivolts, which is nothing. As I suspected, it was necessary to adjust the bounce modulator transformer to null the carrier out. If it's off frequency, it'll be reactive. But there was still a considerable amount of stray carrier. So I had to reverse the phase on the bounce modulator transformer. If you'll see the power supply video I did, I talk about transformer phasing and about RF transformers having polarity. And that was much of the problem. Had to adjust a couple of the 470 ohm or the 1000 ohm precision trimmers to get the carrier way down, but it essentially doesn't exist anymore. Just checked into a net on 7207, sideband on 40, 20 over. This transmitter is making 170 watts CW key down, which is, I don't know exactly, probably close to 350 PEP. Had a fair amount of AC potential between a TR3 chassis and the scope, and I had phased the output windings of that power transformer for the TR3, so they were the same phase, but they were all backwards. So I had to flip it over and reverse all the windings, and that dropped the voltage from chassis to chassis down to 17 volts, which is not too bad. The fact that the bounce modulator uses microwave diodes means that the stray capacitances went way down. So the original design had a 3.9 picofarad capacitor on one side of the bridge, plus a 1 to 6 picofarad trimmer, and that capacitance had to be reduced by putting an inductor in series with the piston trimmer. So it tuned in perfectly. Had to slightly adjust the 1K pots in series with the bridge, but that resulted in literally about 50 millivolts of unwanted carrier signal and some mixer products at the final grids. So that is essentially perfect. I've got RIT on. It's causing problems on sideband because it's not exact, and our less skilled operators on new digital radios can't deal with a transmitter that's off frequency. So I'm going to have to defeat the RIT in sideband. But other than that, this thing is absolutely wired and fired at 170 watts carrier. Most of these are lucky to get 100 because they're not restored and out of alignment. So the RIT, the bounce modulator has been a glowing success. KBYP.